What's up, guys? Welcome back, Cody's Auto Diagnostics. Today is #MakeAToolChallenge. So this all got started from JRC54. If you haven't checked out his channel, check him out. Awesome stuff. Does tool reviews. He's got a great channel. So JRC54 created this #MakeAToolChallenge. It got passed on to Rust Belt Mechanic, another great channel. He passed it off to 410 Autotech. 410 Autotech passed it on to me. So thank you, 410 Autotech. Do appreciate it. I liked your transfer pump tool. JRC54 made a data link connector, memory saver with a couple of different adapters and everything on it. Super cool stuff. Rust Belt did a wire insertion tool by using a snap-on handle. Man, again, great stuff, man. Awesome ideas, guys. Really do appreciate it. Thanks for the shout out. Mine hopefully is up to par, but it's something that I do, it's something that I use, and I hope you guys will use it, and it just makes life that much easier. So I do have a video of making, or not making, but the tech tip of adding bananas onto, or actually let me grab a test light. Taking your regular old test light, cutting off the ends, adding the bananas. Okay, so what's nice about that, you can take any kind of accessory, plug it onto the back. So right now we got the alligators. We can go to the battery positive, battery terminals. Other things you can do by doing this, if you don't have it, this kit from AES Wave, just amazing kit. Love this kit. And this kit has all kinds of pins. So it's got female pins, male pins, just all kinds of adapters, accessories. This is just, it's an awesome kit. I think it's about $200 from AES Wave. Worth it. I mean, I use this thing day in and day out. It is, I mean, you can just tell. I mean, it's just dirty, you know. Can't get around that. Obviously working in a shop. But this thing gets used, and it gets used constantly. And so what I want to show you guys is we are going to make this sealed beam 6054 sealed beam headlight. We're going to turn this into our own test light. And why I'm using this bulb compared to some of the other ones that I've made, like this one here, this is a 9006 with the pigtail, added sheathing, added the heat insulation, or not heat insulation, the shrink wrap on it, added the stackable bananas, but this thing draws 4.5 amps. Okay, 4.5 amps is good. You know, that is good for certain circuits. I also have this 3357 bulb, which is a dual filament bulb. Again, the shrink wrap, the sheathing, the stackable bananas, and this thing here will pull, depending on the filament that you have it hooked up to, 2.4 amps or 2.9 amps. Okay, again, that's depending on the circuit that you're testing and stuff. My sticker came off on this one. I think this one's right about 120 milliamps, this little test light here. This bigger one pulls 140 milliamps. Okay, so I needed a higher amperage bulb. Okay, and I'm hoping to get more amperage out of this bulb than 9006 bulb, because this only draws 4.5 amps. And what I'm mainly looking for is if I can get 6.5, maybe 7 amps out of that bulb on the high beam setting, it would be good for testing like fuel pumps and stuff like that. Fuel pumps are typically roughly about 8 amps, so it gets you closer on the amperage rating than using the 9006, which is only drawing 4.5 amps. So again, you know, different test lights, different applications depending on what you're going to use. So let's just dive right into this. Before we get into making this bulb, there is a bunch of different options that you can pick for the bananas. So these are the 4mm male bananas. You also have these stackable bananas, and I'll put the link in the description. These come, I get all of mine from Amazon. So the one nice thing about the stackables, you can probe and you have other options. You're not limited by just a single connection. So, and what I mean by that is you can add your alligators or whatever thing that you're trying to probe. You can add whatever connections you want here to probe a pigtail, and then on the back you can take your meter leads and you can still check the voltage. So you can hook up your meter while running the test light, while having the test light turn on, and check the voltage drop in the circuit. So it's kind of, it adds multiple purposes, makes more sense. Now here's another thing, this is a cigarette lighter. It's got the light here, tells you, you have your power and ground. So that right there is a quick indication. So what's nice about this, you're underneath the dash, you can't find a ground because everything's plastic anymore, or you don't want to, or you can't find a power source for your meter or whatever you're trying to do, or let's say even you want to hook in your test light. So plug those in together, this into the cigarette lighter, and now you can be checking your ground circuits with a good power source. And if you don't have a breakout box to go to the data link connector, or obviously you do not want to be probing those little pins at the DLC, because you do have a chance of spreading those terminals and you will wreak havoc on the next guy that's trying to diagnose that vehicle. So that's another cool thing you can use these bananas and stuff for. Another option, having that AES kit, or any terminal kit for that matter, and having any of these go in the place of the fuses. So you pull the fuse out, you put this in. Let's say for a Mini, for example, you add these connections here and take one of these. Again, you can buy this at any electronics store, Amazon. I got this at Elliott's Electronics here in Tucson. So again, this is just a fuse. So right now it's a 10 amp fuse. So you pull the amperage size fuse, put the same thing in there, and now you have an amp loop. So now you can hook in your amp meter and check the circuit. Same thing as these here. And this is made, these are from Blue Point. So here's one from AES Wave that comes in this kit. 6054 bulb sealed beam headlight with a pigtail. So this is the pigtail that goes onto the back of it. Alright. I always leave a little room at the end here, and you guys will see why here in a minute, but we will add some shrink wrap. Now you guys do want to be careful when you are heating this up to not heat up the sheathing. This sheathing will melt pretty quick. And it's gonna fray a little bit, but that's why we have the shrink wrap, so hopefully it looks clean when we're done. If not, I'll pull it back off and not use it. Now I am gonna go ahead and heat these up. Like I said, be careful. I have burned these. I don't have my torch, it's at work. So what I have noticed, it's easier to add these before adding it to the wire. And I'm doing two red, one black. This is how I'm setting it up. Now, strip back some wires. What we will do next is tin the wires. Okay, here's the solder I will be using. It's got its flux in it. Okay. Now this can be a pain, and it may take a little bit of practice if you guys haven't soldered before. But what we are going to do, what you want to be sure you do first, is you want to add this onto the wire first. So that's why I left a little room, because I mean, I could bring it back. I could have brought the sheathing up a little bit more, or I can cut the wire back. So go ahead and put your wire in that hole. Okay. You're going to have excess hanging out the other side. Alright. So if you guys can see that, I just have the wire laying in there. I'm going to go from the back side first and just start filling that hole with some solder. So what we do now, flip it around. If you can see in there, that solder came all the way down and filled up that hole pretty good. I'm just going to add a little bit more to this end of it. We will jump to the next one. This one's going to be black. All right, 2 down. All right, got those done. So go back to one of these that have cooled down. We are simply sliding this in. And adding the cap. Just like so. So heat it up like so. So there's the pigtail for the bulb. Something I am going to add on the back of here now is what we're going to do. I'm going to tape it off and add some of this liquid electrical tape. It's a spray. I got it from Harbor Freight. But I am going to spray down these connections. Alright, so why that is, I got 2 coats on that, on the bulb, waiting for it to dry. So, back to our pigtail. Okay, so with the pigtail, yes, I only made it this long. This won't work for every single application. You will need more length. I did not want to add more length to this if I didn't need it. So, I did it this way. Made it this length. If I needed to add more, these right here, you get a 10-pack, Amazon. It takes this 4mm male, and this is a female on both sides. 4mm banana on both sides, and plug that in. Let's say you have your meter lead, or just extra leads you have laying around, like this for example. Again, got these off Amazon. I'll put links in the description. So these are just jumper leads, okay? Pretty simple. I mean, you can use your test leads if they have these kind of connections to make them jumpers, to add some length, and simply, doesn't matter which end. This is a male, goes right into it. So now you just added all this length, another 2 feet added, at least with these anyway. Now you have more options as far as the length that you want to run it. I just ended up doing 2 coats, pulled off the tape. You can see now we don't have, now it's going to be a little bit harder for there to be an issue with grounding out or causing a fire. Alright guys, so little demonstration on this test light. Okay, so have the light hooked up. I got the high setting plugged in, fuel pump connector disconnected. So let's say, you know, came in, fuel pump windings are open, so you can't properly load the circuit. This is where this test light will come in handy. I have the amp clamp on channel 3. Okay, I back probed to check the voltage. On channel 1, channel 2, I have going to the battery. I have a jump box on it because the battery is a little weak right now. Okay, so right now what we are going to do, so checking the voltage to the pump, loading the circuit with the test light, we are going to compare that to the voltage from the battery. So that right there, we are going to be able to see the voltage drop in the whole system. Okay, and we can compare the two. So it's one of the reasons why I have the Pico. We are going to go ahead and start this over, crank this. You can watch the light. Alright, so you can see the headlight. Let's go ahead and stop this. Zoom in. Okay, so green channel is the amperage of the bulb, and the amperage that it is pulling is right about 7.3 amps. Okay, so blue channel is the supply power to the pump, and while cranking, that supply power was 9.9 volts. Okay. Red channel is battery voltage. Battery voltage coming down, you can see battery voltage was 11.44. Okay, now this black channel, I came up to here to the tools, came to the math channels, and I clicked on B minus A. So it is gonna subtract channel B from channel A. So now we are checking the voltage drop from the battery all the way to the fuel pump. So the difference on this black channel, this math channel, is the difference in the whole system. And if we bring this down, voltage drop is 1.5 volts. Okay, so we just tested that whole circuit. So yeah, guys, that's it. Thanks to 410 Auto Tech calling me out. Make a #MakeAToolChallenge. This is my making a tool. Yes, it's a test light. Nothing too special. Obviously, we've all used a test light. I know a bunch of you guys have made your own test lights. So it's not anything as far as that, but I guess the main focus on this is, making a tool, but making a tool a little bit better. Adding those bananas on, just huge time saver, at least for myself. And I know some other guys out there have been doing this too. So obviously guys are digging it. So that being said, you can make, with those bananas, you can make multiple tools, cigarette lighter adapters. That way you have your 12 volt, you have your ground in the back of the vehicle. SUVs, they usually have cigarette lighters in the back. So I mean, it's awesome. Don't have to go to the DLC. Trying to find a power source in the back of the vehicle can sometimes be a pain in the butt. I hope you guys enjoy it. So, thanks for watching like always. Signing out, Cody's Auto Diagnostics. Obviously, you buy the AES Wave test kit. It comes